Hey, Mr. Mike here. I'm a lead teacher in Breezewood Kids grades 2 through 5. And not long ago, the Breezewood Kids leadership team distributed the Resilient book to most of you. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to read the book yet or not. I received the book back in November when I attended the Institute of Children's Ministry ECHO Conference at Ridgecrest. So I've had the book a bit longer, and I've read the book, and I found it both relevant and important. I also found the book a bit difficult to read, so myself and some other leaders have made some short videos with the most important parts of the book. The title of the book is Resilient, and the book is about child discipleship and the fearless future of the church, and how resilient we Christians are today, and asks if we're doing our best to produce the next generation of resilient Christians. The Awana leadership wrote the book, and we can all benefit from their research and observations. This is the video covering Chapter 1. A teenager by the name of Hayden went to a Meet You at the Pole prayer event at his high school. He went alone, and no one joined him. And yet still he stayed, and he prayed, and God was able to use his resilience. A photo of him at the pole and a story went viral. So many at least heard about Hayden and talked about why Christians pray. It became a topic of discussion around the country for at least a day, all because of the resilience of one. Here are some questions that this book will either answer or get us thinking about. Are our kids becoming Christian disciples, or is the culture engulfing them? Are we preparing kids to function as Christ followers in this culture, or is our guidance better fit for a previous generation? Are we effectively engaging this culture, or are we being silenced by it? Are we protecting our kids rather than preparing them to engage a post-Christian culture? Are we preparing today's kids to lead the church and influence the culture of 2050? Or are we simply raising up Bible memory champions and assuming that they are disciples? Have kids taken a second place to curriculum or programming? Are we about achievement or resilience? Or can we emphasize both? Barna Research and the Awana Group have studied the numbers, and they have found that there is a shrinking population of young Christians at church. The dropout rates in the last decade went from 59% up to 64% dropout rates. They found that only 10% of the 18 to 20-year-old Christians are resilient. If our young people are going to thrive in this digital Babylon, then they have to move beyond just being familiar with Jesus to a place of intimacy. So recognize that we have a remnant, only a small fraction, and that's not our only problem. We also have a cultural shift away from Christianity. Less people are identifying as Christians. The Judeo-Christian segment is rapidly disappearing as mainstream. The woke culture is growing. The cancel culture is growing. The culture that says there's no right and wrong is growing. The culture that's confused as to whether they're male and female and how all that goes together is growing. And we have to consider both the moment we are in and the mission we are on. In diagnosing church health, the number one problem reported by children's pastors is lack of volunteers. Frankly, we have this problem in our church. Why? Is it possible that our people just don't know? If so, we need to educate. Is it that they know and they don't care? That's apathy, and that's a cultural sickness that needs addressed. Is it that they know, but they don't feel equipped to deal with the problem? And if so, we need to start equipping. It seems that the church is apathetic to its own future. Many churches are cutting back their programs to Sunday only because of shortages of volunteers. The children that we are teaching now will be the critical leaders in 2050. And cutting back now is short-sighted. And doing nothing is apathetic. We need to plan for 2050. We need to expand our remnant. We need to grow the pool of convictional Christians by creating resilient disciples. What is spiritual resilience? It is a quality that describes the spiritual elasticity of a child or adult. The resistant strength to bend and flex, but not break against the weight of the culture. Resilience is the muscle that discipleship builds. Discipleship is critical. Ask yourself, what is it that got you here? Most of us had it demonstrated by strong parental guidance, where at least some mature Christian adult made the difference for us. And we need to be that influence for the children today. Philippians chapter 2 verse 15 says that you may become blameless and harmless children of God without fault in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. We want our kids to love Jesus for the rest of their lives. I'm going to leave you to ponder these essential questions. Are we winning or losing our kids? Is the culture engulfing them? What about the ones who stop showing up or fade away in their adult years? Are we preparing kids to function as Christ followers in this culture? Or is our guidance maybe better fit for the previous generation? Are we effectively engaging this culture? Or are we being silenced by it? And is our silence impacting our kids' choices? Are we protecting our kids from, rather than preparing them to, engage a post-Christian culture? If these questions cause you to stutter or grab your attention, they should have, will you join me in this journey to prepare Breezewood kids for 2050? I challenge you to pray right now and seek the answers to these important questions. Grace and peace to you all.